recording is now started. Welcome to Overwatch 2 coaching.
Oh, I forgot to start my interval timer. I'll do that when I die.
Alright.
That's a late
Yeah.
helix.
I've got meds. Who needs them?
I'm gonna die here. He's gonna sticky me.
Yeah,
Yep.
so Doomfist defense, right? Same thing. I have a bad habit of it as well. Make sure you're not shooting at it unless he's close to death, right? That's really the only time you would. It's kind of the same. It's kind of the same thing with like a Zarya bubble. You don't shoot a Zarya bubble or Doomfist. You know, I don't remember what it's called, unless they're about to die. In which case you can shoot at them. Okay. You might wanted to have considered taking top right here, as that gives you a nice off angle on them, as well as a high ground advantage. Whereas that doesn't really give you good angles where you're holding right now. You can't really see anything to shoot at.
Yeah. The thought process I had behind that was that our Moira was down, so I didn't like want to. Yeah. I guess I had heal pad too.
Yeah,
so,
remember,
yeah.
Soldier's very self-sufficient, so he is. Yeah. Like we said last time, though, so flanks aren't as good, but they're still good, right? It's.
Come get healed. I'll try to repay the favor.
Still gonna be a good idea to go for them. Aren't as necessary, but still are good in a lot of cases. But it's more situational. Yeah. Here, now where Cart is, you're gonna be super far behind them unless you like wrap up on that top right. You probably want to, you probably want to go up in there. But this probably wasn't the play in the first place because they're so far away from the fight, which means by the time we actually get there, the fight's already over. Right, so,
yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, so just remember Soldier's ranging. Instead, going through maybe just that top middle room. I don't even know if there's a word for it yet. Might have been a better idea rather than doing those super long wraparounds.
This guy is playing Doomfist well as a tank. At least for my elo. Or whatever. Are you not dead?
Who needs heal? I've got you in my sights.
Got trans.
Probably wouldn't focus the person who's like right next to cover when you're visoring, right? Because he's just going to be able to immediately run away. When you're visoring, you want people to be out in the open, running, where you can kill them easily.
Gotcha. Alright, that's... Why am I peeking that?
Yeah, just because remember, like when it comes to High Noon, Visor, a lot of different things, the #1 counter to Visor is cover. Every character in the game has it. And if you're visoring when their whole team is next to it, then your Visor's not going to do anything.
Bionic healing ready for use.
I probably should have opened up the Felix.
Okay. Have we talked about ranging on Soldier?
Ranging, I don't know.
Distance from enemies?
I would assume he's probably a medium range.
Yeah, so we'll go over the in-depth on that after the game is over, but note for the current moment that you are correct, he's a medium range, but you're playing him as a long range.
God damn it. Alright.
Yeah.
I'm having a rough game.
Yeah, make sure staying up on the high grounds, not dropping into the open, into the fray.
Yeah.
They can't get away with this.
That was poor positioning.
Nice.
Escorting the robot.
Oh, I dropped on accident. Whatever. We'll make use of it. I'm sorry, team.
Yeah, so what was the reason why we died?
Because I fell off high.
Yeah, alright, there you go.
I totally did not mean to. I've been doing that a lot accidentally.
When you're
like
falling. Make sure firstly that you're paying attention when you're up on a high ground, but then also another thing that can help is crouching, because that lowers your movement speed.
Where? They under me?
Yes.
I don't. Why did I heal pack? Alright, robot's moving up.
Okay, so where's the next fight gonna be happening, right? Robot's on the move. Oh, apparently right in front of us. Never mind.
Yeah. I have a hard time telling about that on push. Like,
Yeah.
where the fight's gonna be.
You kind of have to get a feel for how fast does the robot move, right? So here, right, for example, this high, if it's anywhere along this pathway, this high ground's probably gonna be pretty good, right? Because it's just along this whole section.
I felt I should have just stayed in cover.
Yeah, you can actually probably just turn around and run back up there, couldn't you?
Oh, I can?
Yeah.
Oh, I can. Oh. I didn't...
Nice Helix. Good opener with that. That's perfect range for the opener. Okay, right now, next fight's probably not happening on this corner, so this high ground's not going to do anything for us.
Yeah. I don't want to push, though.
Yeah. You could flank for a visor. You could wrap around further to the left and take kind of an off angle on the left. So here, I'd probably say, like, just go, like, further left, because you remember you have self-sustainability, right? You just use the cover while you're over here. Okay.
That was a bad visor.
Yeah, just remember, once again, use it while they're out in the open. You want to see a lot of people out in the open, not, you know, 2 people next to cover.
Why do I hear someone over there? Is that just me? Did you hear someone over here?
Not that I heard.
Oh, okay.
Okay, still playing far away, get closer. We'll go over specifically what that means after we're done.
The lead is within our grasp.
You picked the wrong enemy. I've got meds. Who needs them?
Very nice.
Really shouldn't have done that. What's the rush? Barricades moving out.
How good is this flank?
Setting up beds. Pushing ahead now. Let them up. Lead acquired. Good start.
Make sure you're not letting your team block your vision.
Yeah.
Come get here.
What the fuck?
Biotic healing ready for you.
I'm gonna die here.
Stay sharp. We've almost got them. Who needs healing?
This would have been a good time to visor.
Yep.
Oh, that ball killed his mercy.
Who the hell are you?
Yep. Remember. Oh yeah. Well, I guess we'll talk about it afterwards.
Heals coming up.
All right, we're gonna go over a bunch of different things here. I'm gonna screen. Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna stream for you if you'd like to go take a look. And then,
Okay.
yeah. Let me send this over. All right. So, firstly, let's talk about visor usage since you just used it.
Every
What
soldier needs a cause.
do you remember? What are the new changes for visor they just released?
You can crit, and their fallout damage applies now.
Yes, exactly, right? So you can crit, fall off damage applies. Those two are very important because, one, that means that you should be, when you're using visor, you should be trying to aim along with it, right? You should be trying to aim at people because then you have the chance to get extra damage if you do that. And then even if you miss, then you still hit them. And then the other thing is that you have to be even more careful about your range, because you're going to be subject to fall-off damage, which we'll talk about in a moment here. So you want to make sure you're following people. You also want to make sure you're within range when you're visoring. Okay. Additionally, when you're visoring, like we said in the game, you want to be visoring when people are out in the open, not when they're right next to cover. Because if they're all the way over here, right over here, then your visor's not going to do anything. They just run for cover and they're safe. But if you're visoring when they're right here, well, now they don't have cover anywhere, so we can visor, and we're going to do a lot more, right? So that's a couple of the visor things. Yeah, so like when you're honestly, this is something that everybody's gonna need to get used to. But when you're visoring, you're probably gonna want to do something like this, where you're trying to aim at somebody, so that I'm visoring, and even if I'm missing, but I'm still getting the headshots in there, right? So look something more like that.
To the hero.
Yeah, exactly. So that's visor. Now let's talk about soldiers ranging. Now this is something that I've been struggling with on Sojourn, because I'm playing her a lot, and I'm pretty sure that she acts more as a mid-range character, but I'm playing her like a long-range character, and that's what you're doing here, is that Soldier is a mid-range character, but you're playing him almost as if he's a sniper, right? And that's not how you want to be playing him. So reasons why he's a mid-range character. Well, firstly, you don't want to be super close, because there's a lot of characters who do close better than Soldier, right? So think Reinhardt, Reaper, Junkrat, Brig, Mei, Doomfist, right, etc. Right? There's a lot of characters. D.Va, right? Orisa, right? You keep going along the list, and there's a lot of characters who do that better than Soldier. So that's not to say that you never do this, but you probably don't want to do this in a lot of cases. This is not your preference, and this gets to your preference ranging. So you want to put a little bit of a distance between you and people. Maybe about 15 meters is your starting range, right? Because that puts you well out of range of everything. But you have to also have to be careful about getting too far away, because you're going to suffer from multiple different things. Firstly, the further away you get, the less damage you're doing. So here we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots, right? We back up a little bit. Then we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots to kill, right? We go even further. This is going to get more and more extreme the further away we get. This is the range in which you like commonly put yourself at. Watch how many shots it's going to take to kill now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots, right? Now we're taking an extra 2 shots, and note as well that you're not going to be hitting all the headshots. That's taking it from, you know, up here, where this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You, of course, want to hit headshots, but let's say you hit all body shots. That's turning 12 into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Right, so it's adding in extra shots that you don't want.
Gotcha.
And that gets even more extreme. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Extreme the further away you go, right? So that's Fallout damage.
Literally what I was doing on that Zenyatta.
Yeah. So the other thing that comes along with this is not only is it the case that you're going to do less damage, but also you're going to be missing more shots. When you're really close to someone, right, when you're this far away from someone, you have a lot bigger of a hitbox to hit than someone who's all the way over there, right? So you're going to be hitting more shots, or adversely missing more shots if you're super far away, which means that not only are you doing less damage, but you're also missing more, right? So it's not just you need an extra 2 shots. It's more like you need an extra 6 shots, right? Because you're also missing. The other thing as well is that from back here, Helix is going to be more difficult to actually effectively land because it's a projectile, right? So you're not going to be able to use Helix as effectively. And then this also translates as well to Visor, because remember, we have fall-off damage still. So Visor's not going to be doing nearly as much, right? If we're sitting all the way back here, right, you can see it doesn't even acquire the target from back here.
That's crazy.
Okay, now it acquires the target, and it's doing fall-off damage. Okay, so that's why ranging. So 15 meters start, then preference range end, probably going to be around 30 meters is the end of your preference range. And then you can situationally go further, right? Let's say you're just walking into the fight. It's not like, oh no, this is terrible. But it's like, okay, I prefer, so I'm going to actively move up within my preference range. And then now I'm here, so I can do stuff.
Okay.
Right? So look to stay within your preference range and actively play there. You can queue up for a game, by the way, if you weren't already. Let's see, was there anything else? Probably should have said that before that last one.
Double kill.
Trying to think if there's anything else. You were saying that you're finding it inconsistent to do helix jumps. Would you like a little bit of help with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, one of the really a lot of it is just the timing of your helix jump, and you want to pretty much be pressing both the buttons at the exact same time. So you're pressing your helix and your jump button at the same exact time, and then you can sprint as well to get forwards momentum while you're going. Right? So
you do space helix and then sprint, or
Nope.
all at the same time?
Nope. It's space and helix at the exact same time.
That's what I meant. That's
yeah.
what I meant.
And
Yeah.
then sprint comes afterwards. Right? Sprint comes like pretty much immediately afterwards.
Yeah, I wasn't clear on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think some other people do it like a 1-2 order. I find that it's just most consistent to press them both at the same time. It works, and it just is easier to remember to do, in my opinion.
Right.
Other smaller things we can add in, reloading. So when you're reloading and you're wanting to keep up momentum, so you're trying to run around, you're trying to sprint around, and you want to reload, right? Easy way to do that is to jump and reload midair, because I can keep up my sprinting momentum while I'm in the air, right? So instead of
blew my mind.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a tech.
Yep, so instead of this where I'm sprinting, reload, stop sprinting, and then sprint again, right? That's very slow, it slows you down, it means that you could get shot at. If I'm trying to reload while going fast, it works best if you're jumping off of something, but it still works okay if you're not. So we run, jump off, reload, and that keeps up our momentum going, whereas watch if we don't jump here, you've already seen if I don't jump, right? And then you can also do that even if you don't have an object. It's just not, it's going to kind of half help, where you're sprinting, jump, reload, and then you can keep going. So it keeps up kind of half the momentum in that
It's
case.
still significantly better, though. I have that problem all the time, where I get caught on no bullets, which is part of an awareness issue, right? But I get caught in a duel and I have no bullets left, and I'm like, okay, now I have to escape. And but I want bullets just in case.
Yeah.
Like, I have no other choice but to fight.
Yeah, you really want to just be reloading anytime you have a lull in time. So anytime, because it takes you, 1 second to reload, right? So if you have 1 second ever, then you're reloading, right? That way you're able to do stuff so that you have bullets when you need it. You do not want to be reloading when, oh, that's interesting. Is that new?
I don't know.
Or for Overwatch 2, I upped to medium, so that's possible that was always there. Let me know when you get in a game, by the way.
Yeah, I'm in queue still.
Yeah. So, the time you do not want to reload is when you can be shooting. That's when you do not want to reload. But if you, for example, I go pew, 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 jump, reload, right? Because I already killed the target. I'm finding a new one. A lot of cases as well, right? If I just killed this target, I just wasted a lot on my clip already, right? So I reload, find a new target, okay? Nobody's there, reload, okay? There's new people, shoot, 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 shoot. No one's here, reload, okay? So you're just reloading every single time that there's nothing happening, even for 1 second, right? And it's just
I remember a question I had, because something I've now finding myself playing against more people that play snipers. How do I play against, like, Widow, Ashe, Hanzo as Soldier?
Yeah, so a couple things, right? Firstly, cover, right?
Yeah.
Snipers do not now mean that you should be using cover. You should always be using cover. But it now means that there's
as well.
Okay, yeah, but it now means that there's a greater necessity for using cover, right? So think of that in terms of like what we're talking about with like how flanking changes and off-angle flank change, right? Flanking before was a necessity of Soldier.
Yeah.
Now it's still probably a good idea, but it's a little more situational. It's kind of similar. So with snipers, it's not a necessity per se. Without other people, it's a really good idea when there's other characters, but it becomes a necessity with snipers because that's the only way to survive against them, right?
Gotcha.
And then additionally, you need to make sure you're getting within your range on them. Flanking on them can help because you can get up to them without them being able to shoot at you, right? If you like flank and get up next to the Widowmaker. So playing out their line of sight, avoiding them, flanking to get them, are all and getting within your range to them are all gonna help.
Gotcha. Is that a mercy? Oh, speaking of snipers,
Yep. Looks like they
I
got
shouldn't have jumped.
Damn it. Barrier initiated.
Ah!
All right.
I was too far forward, and my team wasn't there
Yeah.
to help me. So I
They can't get away with this.
let's see. Feet. All right.
Is there a right side wrap around there?
Oh my God! There is?
Yeah, this leads you back into this room. That feels like a pretty worthless flank.
Fields online.
Very nice shots.
You really shouldn't have done that.
No! Oh.
Yeah, just gotta be careful of peeking the snipers. Can wait for our team to make some space for us.
Yeah.
If they're holding low ground, that means they're giving you high ground for free.
That is true. I didn't
Right.
think about that.
So there's no reason to continue. Like if they're all on the low ground, then you can kind of take high ground. Good helix.
I've got meds.
Okay.
Who needs them?
That was a very far back health pack because then we can't actually
Yeah.
peek to damage at all.
Oh.
Immediately swap to shooting those things rather than him when he plops them.
Biotics deployed.
It was still too far back.
Do. Fight's probably
don't-
looking lost.
Yeah.
There we'd spend way too much time sitting around, right? So that's an
Yeah.
actions per minute thing. We we
Gotcha.
want to destroy like 2 helixes and then go, right? We want to be shooting out there shooting things, whereas we kind of just sat around. Yeah, make sure we're not wandering off on our own right now. Look at where our team's at, and we're kind of walking back to spawn right now.
Yeah.
Yep. So, awareness of where our team's at. Team's up on the high ground. Stick with them on the high
Yeah.
ground. Going off on our own, it's just asking to be dove, and then once you know that you're being dove, run to your team, not away from your team.
Right.
You can't help them; they can't help you if you're running away from your team.
Nano boost administered.
I've got you in my sights. Good effect on hostiles.
Are you serious? How did I miss that?
Okay, nice. Good
Oh,
visor.
I'm a man
There's a good
on
timing where a lot of people are out in the
my
open,
way.
and I noticed that you're starting to try to track in that one. Just gotta get better at hitting the headshots, though.
Yeah. I struggle with that on Soldier a little bit. My tracking in FPS, I've been always more of like a flick kind of guy, so tracking's a little bit new to me, but I find
Okay, good job swapping to the right, the preferred target there. Just want that swap to be half a second faster.
Everyone heal.
Nice shots.
oh, there's a Widow. Oh no, there isn't a Widow. I was like, wait,
Seeing ghosts.
they should have stayed double sniper. I couldn't do anything against that.
Okay, right there. Did you drop to help push cart?
What?
Right there. Did you drop to help push cart?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
I tried to get 3 people. I should be on high ground.
Surrender to my will.
Just, I think you can go through that left and right room, and it probably would have been faster than wrapping back
Yeah.
around.
Right. But this is lost.
Just map stuff.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk about what we were just talking about a second ago after we're done here, but we don't have enough time at the moment.
Yeah.
Regret that.
I thought I saw an enemy up there.
See, this man seeing stuff.
I am. I'm like schizophrenic or something. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, tracking. Oh, lordy.
Okay, probably don't want to be spending too much time, especially when the rest of our team's pushing forwards.
Correct. What am I doing?
Yeah, good job recovering. Watch the health bar, dropping helix or health packs a lot when we're full HP.
Yeah. Ah, yeah. That was funny.
When there's a Genji directly on top of you, might be a good idea to sprint away from him, because once again, he's a character that has a closer preference range than you do. Right?
Okay.
So you can sprint away from him so he's not landing all 3 of his shurikens every single time.
Right.
Additionally, before Genji got on top of you, probably was a good time to visor, because Genji, Ball,
Yeah.
and Zen were all in the open.
Right.
What's the team up to?
They're dead.
Damn it.
I am dead as well.
Heals coming up.
I'm just trying to.
That payload's not going to deliver itself. Move it.
They didn't see me.
Might not want to peek.
I'm just trying to hide from everyone.
I'm trying to hide as he pokes his head out.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking they were under.
Consider thinking about C9ing here, right? Do they have anybody on cart? Am I going to be able to push it? If they come to you, you have visor, right?
Move it out. I've got you in my sights.
No shot.
Very nice.
Like old times.
I'm dead.
Okay. Probably when you find yourself in a bad position, don't commit to it, right? Sprint out of the
Yeah.
situation. So you're like, oh, I'm out in the open by myself. Sprint away, right? Make sure you're sticking with your team. I think you had like 3 teammates that you maybe could have been more closer towards.
Right.
So make sure you're not wandering off on your own, and then sprint away, right? Don't commit to it.
I need to learn to do that more.
Okay. What's the time bank saying?
Tango erased.
6 seconds. Touch cart.
Come get healed.
For the party.
That's awareness in action. That would be a lost game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't have. Oh, the new boop. Please don't do this to me.
Request healing when you're low, right? Get your supports to look at you.
Unassailable
Stay on cart.
What?
Stay on cart. Oh my god.
Alright, so a couple things there. Firstly, we kind of like got into their spawn a little bit during that fight, so probably would have been like, so positioning got like really aggressive. Whereas you probably wanted to stick a little bit more towards the outskirts, probably a little bit more towards your team's side. Besides that, you can be the one to touch cart, right? Consider like breaking mines and going and touching if you know that your team can't or isn't going to touch.
Well, I know that was really
Yeah.
bad on me. I kind of like. I don't want to blame my team for that one.
No,
Like,
I mean
the mines were in between me
it's-
and the cart, and
yeah, I mean it's in that case, that's an example where it's kind of everybody's fault, right? You can't say
Yeah.
it's my team's fault, because you as well probably could have gone and touched cart if you
Right.
helix the mines and just walk through, right? You had definitely had enough time for that rather than trying to run all the way around the mines. So, and we also had
Okay.
like nano boost as well, which can help us if we needed to, probably tank a mine.
Yeah, live. Yeah.
So that's things to consider. Definitely 100% you could say, okay, my team could have touched, but then also you could have touched as well, right?
Yeah, I could have. Yes.
All right. All right.
I just didn't. That's like a part where like comms would be useful in a game like this, where
Yeah.
it's like I guess I would say like in that instance, if I comm, I would probably say something like I'm not touching or something.
All right.
But I should that it was I was unintentionally not touching, which is my fault, right? Like it's not. It is everybody's fault because it is my fault in particular because I was just under the assumption that somebody else was going to touch.
Yeah. So.
But I wasn't like. I should have been the one to touch. I should.
Yeah. Be not of the assumption. In fact, I probably would be of the assumption of it. It's better safe to be safe than sorry, right? Unless you're in like a team environment where someone's calling, I'm touching. Right, that'd be the exception to the rule.
Gotcha.
All right. So do you remember when we were in this game and we were right here, with like Visor, I believe, and we dropped, and I asked, why did you drop? You're like, because I wanted to get 3 people in cart, right? That whole thing. In that situation, you probably did not want to drop, right? So let's discuss why that's not the case.
Did I have Visor? Or it was after I used it,
even. Even if you didn't have Visor, right? It doesn't matter either way.
Right.
Okay.
I know. I was. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All good. So this is a common misconception because people think, oh, more people in cart, it goes faster. So let's talk about that, right? On every single payload or escort map, right, where you have a point, every single point, right, has roughly 2 fights. So the first fight, notice how the first fight happens somewhere around this corner, or this stretch here, right? Second fight is going to happen near the end, either under here or up top there, or like along this spot, right? So there's 2 fights. This becomes more fights if they beat you, or if if they, of course, if they win, then you need more fights to win, but it's 2 in a row roughly, and then it can become less if you stagger them and they never get a full fight in, right? Now, what does not change this is if you have 3 people on cart. If you have 3 people on cart this entire way through, it's still 2 fights, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So when you're right here and they have plenty of time to touch, you dropping and giving up better positioning is not the play when you can have 1 person push and still have the fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only time you should ever have more than 1 person on cart is the case where you are like right here and you think, oh, I think we can get it before they touch, right? That would be the only case, but in that case, when you were all the way back here and they were already walking back, that's not the case where where you can cap before they touch. They're gonna touch, and then you're not really accomplishing too much because you still need to win the fight.
I know you didn't ask me to queue, but I did queue for
another. All good.
And I am in game.
That was the main thing that I was gonna go over.
Okay. All right. This map I kind of struggle with on Soldier. Is Route 66. I don't know why. It's like I have more trouble like high ground I can get, right? But again, I don't want to blame my team because like there's always something I can do, right? I recognize this factor. But someone at like they always play right here. Like this is something like not always, but most of the time they people play right there, and they'll do that to the end. Like it's like they're not giving up that corner no matter what, even if they kill them.
Which is not something that they should be doing, of course. Did we ever discuss what you should be doing in the case that your team's doing something stupid?
No, but I would assume just run away and reset, right?
Let's discuss that. We'll discuss that after we're done. Oh yeah, well I'm talking about in the process of them being stupid. We'll talk about that afterwards.
Okay, yeah, that would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Is this good right here, this position?
If your team's holding close, sure. Might not want to stick here the entire fight, but I mean, I think that it's
That was
perfectly
bad.
fine.
That was not
Yeah,
intentional.
we're dropping it a lot when we're not actively taking damage or have taken damage, right? So you want to either be in the process of taking damage or having took damage in the past.
Yeah,
but we're
that
dropping
one specifically was a fat finger, and I'm playing on like a rolling
Yep.
range.
range. Yep. You can just push up to here and then you're good. This is much better.
Aim, please.
Biotics deployed.
Okay, right now if we take top right, we can get above them, or the fight's already lost, right? So we probably want back out now.
Damn it.
Okay, probably want to wrap back up to like either we can come out on the top right here, or we can come out on the top left. Either or. Don't sit in her orb.
Yeah, my bad.
I am ready.
Probably wouldn't recommend trying the Helix around unless you're going like unless you use like 1 HP already, because you're only ever gonna get the explosion damage, not the direct.
Everyone heal up.
Alright. I need to find a different way to get value right now. Yeah. I also struggle with Genji. I think it's just because my poor back get on top of my head, and for some reason I think I need to duel to do that.
Yeah, just make sure that you are playing within your preference range in comparison to him, if at all possible. He's going to push you, but you want to try to stay within your preference range. The other thing is going to be making sure that you're landing your Helix on him, right? Because that's going to do over half his health if you land that. So put extra effort into landing the Helix, as well as make sure you're timing your health pack correctly.
Damn it.
Really put effort into your ability usage when you're dueling him.
I'm trying not to peek with Discord. They all have cover and I dropped. Are you kidding me?
Biotics deployed. I've got you in my sight.
Ah!
So there, what was the issue? Why did we die?
I ignored the Genji.
I'd probably say there's probably a bigger thing in that
A
case.
bigger, they had cover probably.
No, yeah, they did a cover, a decent bit. Has something to do with the fact that in that scenario it was you versus Genji and as well as the
3 people, yeah.
3v1, right? So what does that mean where we were in comparison to our team?
I was overextended, and
No, actually, you were
I
behind
shouldn't
your
have
team.
jumped.
You were isolated. Yeah, your whole team was in front of you. Yep.
Oh, I wasn't. Okay.
So you were just separated from them, right? You weren't with them. So playing with them means that now you get healing. Requesting healing could be another helpful factor there.
Oh my god. I tunnel visioned. What am I doing?
Yeah,
I'm not having a
reset.
good game.
Yeah, reset your mind, right? Get focused up. Yeah, just focus back on the basics. Okay, notice how Mercy helps keep you through that. So if Genji gets on top of you next time, press I need healing, right? That gets her to you much faster.
I'm gonna go on a flank here.
Damn it.
Okay.
Shit. I shouldn't have dropped. I should have just...
Kind of overstayed your welcome a little bit,
Yeah.
right? We used our pack, and they knew we were there. It's no longer a surprise. They know they can come get us super easily. So
Gotcha.
make sure not to overstay your welcome. Okay. Put a little bit more effort into the helixes. We're missing a lot of the helixes as of the moment.
Yeah.
That one's confirmed.
The payload is approaching its destination.
Genji's coming back soon.
Okay, nice.
All right.
There's much for you to do.
Probably back a little bit, right? Or I guess we stay in then.
I don't know. What are you thinking?
I was thinking we were down at a disadvantage.
No, I think when you were saying that, you guys were still 5v5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no one had actually died.
Oh.
Because notice 3 of your teammates just died and you still have Zen.
Oh yeah. Sometimes the kill feed colors are. So I saw red on blue.
Mm.
I know for like a fact I did.
All work and no play.
Oh no!
Killing spree.
Please.
Watch the res.
Enemies re-engaging.
Yeah.
Mm.
That was a tough game.
Alright.
Oh.
So
Alright.
we were gonna review what do you do if your team's being stupid. So if you know, right, holding back, generally speaking, right, like we'll just give you a general example. It's not specific to anything that happened that game. But if you know that, you know, your team should be holding backwards and they're holding forwards, right, what do you do? Okay, well you have a couple different options, really, right? Let's walk through them. If your whole team is holding forwards and you should be holding backwards, right? So you can A, go and participate with them and join them in that forwards positioning. B, you can kind of half join them, kind of like go be in the middle, maybe try to find find a positioning that can kind of be in the middle of the two. Or C, you can sit out and kind of let them do their thing. Right. So what happens if you do? Let's go backwards order here. What happens?
Can you repeat those again?
Yeah. What happens if your team's pushed forwards to a place they should not be? Let's say they're running into the enemy team spawn, right? And you don't think they should be in their spawn. Okay. What happens if you do not participate and you sit back?
They lose, for sure.
Yeah.
They're at a disadvantage for one.
Yeah. They're at a disadvantage. They're more likely to lose without you, right?
Yes.
So this is a quote from, and I mean that the same thing applies to if you're kind of half-heartedly joining in. Okay,
Right.
so this quote is from Jane. Not sure if you recall Jane at all. He's a former
do.
Overwatch League coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
He says that when one person is doing something stupid, that is called feeding. When 6 people are doing something stupid, that's called a strategy. So therefore, right, it's kind of going off of that. If you see that like 1 or 2 people are sprinting into their spawn and feeding, there's not too much you can do about that, right? Like if you go in, then it's just you're going to be the second person, and then now you just have 2 people feeding in their spawn. You're not going to win that fight if it's a 2v5, right? I almost said 2v6. Now, if you see 3, 4 people are doing that, well now it's a 5v5 or a 4v5, and that is much more winnable than if they're trying to do a 3v5, right? Because then that's not going to work out too well for them. They're going to be at a disadvantage or even have lost the fight before they've even engaged.
I might as well ask you, like, I doubt I can get a whole game in 10 minutes, but do you want me to queue to another one?
No, because we're going to do the wrap-up as well.
The wrap-up,
here.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah, we can just start that now, I guess. Did you have any other questions before we get into that?
In the Midtown game, first point, I got carried. I don't know. Like, I mean, I had like 1 or 2 good helixes and a good, and probably a good ultimate, like, with the visor, but it was also kind of rough. Like, if I wasn't in a position to do that, I've been struggling a lot against the sniper as soldier, and I've also been struggling against Genjis, and that's like, and I mean honestly Hog, but like, I think that's like, I don't know if you've noticed that even through the last coaching, I my hog or my when I play against hog,
You had
I don't know how to respect him. I don't know
Mm.
if that means anything.
So it's the same thing as a sniper, right? So what happens if Hog lands a hook on you?
I die.
Okay, what happens if a sniper headshots you?
I die.
Okay, so what as soldier, right? Let's say and that gets into cover usage, right? Basic cover usage. If I'm right here, right? I might have possibly gone over this before, right? But if I'm right here and the enemy team's right there and they start shooting at me, and it takes me, even with sprint, 1, 2, 3 seconds to get behind cover. Now, in that time frame, we died. If it's a sniper and you're right here and it takes you and you go like this, you died, right? Instantly.
Yeah.
Now, if you are right, you cannot shoot through solid objects. If I'm right here and a sniper tries to shoot at me, you go, oh, sniper, I'm out of their line of sight instantly, right? It takes half a second. Same thing with a hook. You can see the hook coming and go, oh, hook can't hit me, right? People, now they can't see me, but I can still shoot at them if I peek, right? And that's cover usage. It covers everywhere. High grounds are cover. This is cover. Slopes, pillars, corners, doorways, corners, random objects, payload, etc. Right? Covers everywhere. So you want to make sure you're using that and respecting that and being aware of them as well, of where they are positioned, so you can properly dodge them.
You really shouldn't have done that.
I do have another question. Might be like a little like it's hard to word it, right? But it's something I've struggled with in like games in general. Is like so you talked about the actions per minute, right? But it's also like sometimes I have trouble processing what I'm seeing on the screen in my head in a timely manner. So when I peek and I see 5 enemies, like even if I'm in cover, I don't register that widow that's in the back. Like that doesn't even appear as a thought in my mind. And like I guess it's like, how do you absorb information quicker?
Different people are going to be talented at it, right, than other people. Like, it's not everybody's talented at video games, and not everybody's talented at the same thing, right? You have different giftings, and I have different giftings. So it might not come as easily to you, but the answer I would say would probably be practice, and the practice is awareness. And the more you repetitively, peek 5 people and try to be aware of your surroundings, the easier it's going to get to understand what you're looking at. Right, like, and then also pre-planning, right? You can actively be searching for the Widowmaker beforehand, which will make it easier if you have a plan going into it, right? Because if you know that they have a Widowmaker on their team and you peek 5 people and you see 5 people, then Widowmaker's one of those people.
I doubt anyone. You make a very good point in the sense, like, I mean, some people probably can process all 5 people on their screen at once, but I also bet people are also looking for, like, threats, like, when they anticipate those threats.
It'll make it easier if you have something in mind you're actually looking for. You're not just, like, you think about what is the reason why I'm peeking? Am I peeking just to look, or am I peeking to gather certain information, right?
Gotcha.
And then besides that, like I said, it'll get better and easier if you're practicing it, right? So just doing it more, it'll come with time, as well as effort into the awareness. Right?
Now, do you agree with, like, I don't want to call it like inting games, but like, you probably already. That's like a stupid question I would ask, but it's like, just like. You already talked about it, fully focusing on awareness. Like, I'm not saying that I'm not going to shoot my gun the entire game and just only track my friendlies and enemies and track information, right? Like...
You're asking if that should be the only thing you're focusing on?
Yeah.
No, it should be when you're dividing it up. You should be like dividing up think of it like you're dividing up your brain, right? You have 100% capabilities with your brain, and you're taking 50% and putting it into awareness, and then the rest of the other 50% you're dividing between the other activities, and you're kind of putting the other activities on autopilot, right? So you can still function shooting at things and do it decently well, not perfectly, but you can focus on you can function on decent aim when you're autopiloting on your aim, where you're just kind of shooting to shoot and you're not really focusing on it too much, right? And then if you do that with everything else besides awareness, and you're fully focusing, not fully focusing, but 50% focusing on awareness, right, more than anything else, then that means that your awareness is going to be better and better and better until it forms as a habit. Once it forms as a habit, now that, when you autopilot with it, it's going to come more naturally, and your autopilot level will be higher. So before
I was just going to ask that, like, as a high-level player, now this might be a redundant question, but, like, do you ever autopilot awareness?
Yeah, sure. But what it means is that now when I autopilot awareness and I'm just kind of barely paying attention, my autopilot awareness is better than diamond players' awareness when they're focusing.
Right.
Right? Because the autopilot level is increased, and then once the autopilot level is increased, then I can move on to something else and focus on that until that autopilot's level is increased. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I'm sure you've worked on it, like, yeah, I understand now. Like, I just need to, like, divvy up my attention, increase more attention towards my awareness and my anticipation, and would you still? Okay, you're probably about to go over this, but I might as well just ask now. Do you think awareness is still, like, my #1 thing to look out for?
Yeah, sure. Let's discuss that. So really quickly, because we got like 2 minutes left, so like speed run it. I think, did you order notes with this one? I don't know if you did.
I didn't see an option.
Oh, because I didn't offer it. That's my bad. Because if you accepted my offer, I just did the base because I wasn't thinking about it. I should have maybe asked about it. But in any case, if you want, I can add it on if you want the notes.
You don't have to type the notes. I'm not gonna make you do that since I didn't pay for it. But, like,
no, that's what I'm saying.
If you can do the 1 to 5, like, or the list
of
things.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is that if you want, we can add it onto your order really quickly, like after the session is done.
Yeah. Let's
so I
do
can.
that.
Yeah. Okay. So then I'll get you your notes so we can do this really fast, and then we can add it onto the Fiverr order. Besides that, really quickly, Helix, put more effort into it. You're aiming below people. Health pack, you're doing it when you're full HP. Don't do that. Sprint, pretty good, right? Just mainly the other two. Overall, that's probably like a medium priority for you to work on. Probably, like, especially Helix and health pack, right? Put effort into using it appropriately. You're missing a lot of Helixes. Health packs aren't doing anything. Okay, Visor, we talked about a bunch of different things, right? Overall, Visor probably went to a little bit above those two. Maybe I'd put the awareness, ability usage to a lower end of medium, and then I put Visor usage to a medium, maybe higher end of medium, kind of in between that. Then we're gonna put mechanics, just general aim practice, shooting at the right things at the right times. That probably, we didn't talk about like too much specifics on that. That probably goes to like a lower end of a medium. And then you got positioning closer to people, high grounds, off angles, flanks, and when to do that. Cover. Overall, that probably went to like a low end of a medium high. And then finally, awareness. We talked about, pay attention to where your team's at, listening, watching, general awareness, things that we've been discussing. But honestly, I think it was not the worst thing this time. It looked as though it was better. There were a couple times where you're schizophrenic and saw random things. So I'd work on that. check a doctor real quick, or a therapist, right? But yeah, besides that, just keep on practicing at it. But I would say this time it was maybe like a higher end of a medium, right? All of that put together. So to put that in order, #1 was probably positioning. #2 probably going to be your awareness. #3 is going to be your ult usage, then ability usage, and then mechanics, right? So now you're just shifting your primary 50% attention into positioning rather than awareness, because now your awareness isn't 100% perfect, but it's better than it was before. So you're gonna inch forwards the awareness, then you inch forwards the positioning, and then you now maybe you might go back to awareness and you inch forwards awareness, and then you inch forwards ability usage, and that's how really improvement works, right?
Yeah.
And that process can be fast. It depends. It kind of depends on how much time and whatnot you put into it. Right.
Yeah, it depends on how much I can play, but yeah.
Yeah, and just how much you can play, but also how valuable the playtime is, and also
Right.
how talented you are at learning and etc. Right? It's complicated.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Recording is